Is MBTI bullshit? Who cares? Is it scientific? Maybe not. Is it valuable? Yes, I think it is. It's a theoretical framework that invites people to understand themselves, and that's a good thing. Becoming the observer of your thoughts and actions and motivations and tendencies is always a good thing. MBTI is a pretty oversimplified framework that categorizes people into 16 different personality types. It's not a perfect system. People are way more complicated than that. We all have all of the functions, but we also have a natural tendency to use and prefer some functions over other functions. However, as we grow and evolve, some of our weaker functions might be strengthened just from time and wisdom and learning. People evolve over time, hopefully. And occasionally you see people that don't. They have the same dysfunctional patterns in their 60s that they had in their 20s. And that's really weird, I think. I think for the most part, the majority of people grow and evolve over time. And whether you're consciously aware of it or not, a lot of times that growth is a matter of strengthening your inferior functions. And when people discover personality typing, they're all going to react to it differently. One person might find out that they're an INFJ and it's a relief. They feel understood and they say, oh, I'm an INFJ. That's why I'm so bad at setting boundaries. And then they might proceed to just use that as kind of an excuse and never focus on getting better at setting boundaries. Now, another person might find out that they're an INFJ, feel a sense of relief, understand finally why they're maybe not good at setting boundaries, but then they decide to work on that issue and get better at setting boundaries. So it really just depends on how you use the information. I don't think that it's a bad idea to step outside of yourself and observe yourself and analyze your motivations and tendencies. This is always a good thing. I saw a client in my massage therapy office yesterday, and he asked me what I do in my free time, and the subject of YouTube came up, and he wanted to know what my videos were about, and I asked him if he was familiar with personality typing, and he remembered it from a workplace situation where MBTI typing experts came in to type all of the employees. And he talked about how he thought it was bullshit and everyone thought it was bullshit and they just didn't want to be bothered with it. And I could totally understand where he was coming from because I kind of feel like it shouldn't be used in a workplace. Like it shouldn't be used that way. For one thing, it isn't super accurate. You can be mistyped. You can mistype yourself easily. It also seems dangerous if employers use this not very accurate tool to type employees and then make major decisions about employment based on the results of those tests. Even if an employee is of a certain type that might potentially make them not be so good at the job at hand, it doesn't mean that they are necessarily going to be bad at it. Because when you are a certain type and you have certain functions that are undeveloped, that doesn't mean that you're stuck in that undeveloped place. You may have learned ways over time to cope with those undeveloped functions or strengthen them so that you're more balanced. So here's an example. I used to be a cleaning lady, and as an INFJ, if I'm typing myself correctly, as an INFJ, I have undeveloped extroverted sensing. I do happen to be pretty bad at noticing details. When you're a cleaning lady, you need to notice all the details. You can't miss anything. Now, I know that about myself. I know that I can't be trusted to see the smudges and the mistakes in the external world. I'm just going to glance over things and miss stuff. I know that about myself. Because I know that about myself, I created a system for cleaning houses that does not need to rely on me to catch every single detail. I clean from top to bottom. I clean from left to right. It's very systematic. So I don't have to rely on being detail-oriented to catch all the smudges and mistakes. They're just caught by the system. So when I used to clean houses years ago in my 20s, I would be very much in my mind, in my inner world, and not super attentive to my exterior surroundings. Yet still I was a good house cleaner. My clients loved me. They loved the work that I did. I didn't miss the details because I was using a system. And I used that system because I knew that I wasn't good at catching details. So you see, even if you have an inferior function, you can find ways to be successful in the world. And so for an employer to just type you and say, this maybe isn't our best candidate, that's kind of lame, because we're talking about people's employment here. We're talking about their means of survival in the world. And also, they could be mistyped. It just doesn't seem like a good system for the workplace. But in criminology, profiling criminals, yeah, why not? I mean, it's a theoretical framework. MBTI is a theoretical framework, just like, the Big Five and Enneagram. It's all just trying to type. It's very difficult for it to be a super accurate thing, but that doesn't mean that it's complete bullshit, and it doesn't mean that it's not valuable at all. I am really excited about the work that they're doing at Objective Personality, and I'm actually taking the class, and I will put a link in the description to that website, but this is so cool. So the folks at Objective Personality are research scientists who are really trying to type people objectively as possible. And they type people into far more categories than 16. It's not just 16 types, it's more nuanced than that. So when I'm watching one of their classes, they are actually typing a known personality. So you're watching a video of them typing somebody famous like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or, just different celebrities. So they watch hours and hours of video footage on these celebrities, and they're looking for subtle little cues about, the values and the operations of that personality. So when you watch a class, they're usually an hour or so long, maybe a little longer than that. And you review video footage of the famous person, and you see these researchers describing why they think this person is an IJ or an IP. And they're really cued into very, very subtle meanings in how the personality is presenting itself. This is so fascinating and completely absorbing. I can't wait until it's lunchtime. I'm going to sit down and watch another one while I eat my lunch. Anyway, link in the description for Objective Personality. Really fascinating stuff. So I think MBTI is valuable, and it depends on how you use it. If you're using it to step outside of yourself and observe yourself and understand yourself better so that you can evolve and grow, I don't see that as a bad thing, and I don't think it's bullshit. It's especially interesting to take something like MBTI and cross-reference it with Enneagram or the Big Five test or some of these other personality tests, just to get a picture of yourself and observe yourself. And it's totally possible to mistype yourself, but I still think it's a starting place. And I think that it's valuable. So you see some of these traits, you get a result on a test, and you can say, is that me? Do I do that? Is that how I operate? That's valuable. There are some people that are just so unconscious, they don't question their own motives, they don't question their own values. There is value in questioning these things. So is it bullshit? Who cares? If it helps you question and grow, then it's valuable. So let me know what you think. Is personality typing bullshit? Let me know in the comments.